You ever found yourself lost? Almost like you had everything that you thought you wanted, but you just didn't know where to turn? Well, that's exactly where I found myself. Here I am, 26 years old, living in a beautiful house with my girlfriend, close friends, doing work that offered me unlimited earning potential. Yet, I was completely dissatisfied with what I was doing. I was unfulfilled with the work that I was practicing, and I was totally anxious, waking up 90% of the time just full of anxiety. Literally, I would open my eyes and it was like it's sunny out, angst. I close off. I was at this point in time in a place where I didn't know what was going on. However, all of the short-term pleasures, the going out on the weekends, the parties, the having fun, all of that made all of this reality almost like not seen. It was invisible. And I didn't know what to do. There was something that needed to change. Something didn't fit. Something wasn't there. However, I stuck with it because everything will ultimately always pan out, is my mind frame. Now, fast forward a month, everything totally taken out from underneath my feet. No longer living in that beautiful home. My relationship with Lauren at the time literally had ended as I'd known it. I didn't know if we were going to stick together. And the group of friends that I had spent so much time with, I was no longer that connected with. I was now living back in my parents' house when I promised myself 3 years earlier that I would never do that again. No offense to them, I love them to death. I'm only here because of them. However, just for me, it was a thing that I didn't want to do again. But here I was, totally lost. I remember the first night back, I laid down, I looked around me, my boxes were still unpacked. I didn't want to believe the fact that I was moving back home. And I looked up at the sky, I looked up at the ceiling, and I was thinking to myself, what happened here? What happened here? So, fast forward, again, here I am now, I'm sitting in this man's basement, his office. It's a couples therapist office. And I'm sitting with Lauren, we're about 50 minutes through the session, it's an hour long, and I realized, holy cow, I just gotta make a choice. I gotta make a choice to do something with myself. I gotta make a choice to just either forgive, or I gotta make a choice to go and do something else. At this point in time, I was very confused if I was gonna stick with Lauren or not. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I loved her. I didn't know what was next. I didn't know what to do with my life. I was driving Uber and picking up side hustles from here and there. Nothing against Uber. Had a great time, met some amazing people. But again, at 27 years old, not at this point, it's not where I saw myself. However, I was in this guy's basement, and like that, it was this realization that I could either choose to be right, choose to be angry, choose to hold regrets, or I could just choose to forgive. Choose to forgive myself, choose to forgive the people in my life, choose to forgive the fact that I had literally given up all responsibility and had blamed instead of taking that on for myself. I gave myself the grace. And I remember leaving that place with a new possibility to walk into. A relationship with Lauren that we could rebuild back up. A relationship with myself where I could now be in a place of power. A relationship with the people in my life that I could reconnect with again. And it's not the first time that's happened to me in my life. I remember before, many times, unfulfilling jobs, dead-end jobs that I didn't want to keep. However, they were just paying the bills, so everything was good. And I just didn't know what to do next. But I had made it. In the past, I had a relationship that unfortunately ended in a very sad way. And, oh man, God bless Sam. It left me with a heart full of shame and a heart full of guilt. And this just completely clouded every single area of my life, but I didn't know it. But here I was again, still living, still moving, still trucking forward. So at that time, I had been going through a 2.5-year transformational program. This experience was the most intense, the most rigorous, the most recreative, the most intense, and honestly, I can't recommend it enough because it helped me to see the different areas of my life where I started to point and blame others, where I stopped to really look at myself and to realize that if I'm going to create something and if I'm going to live a life that I really want to live, it's up to me. And I make mistakes, people are imperfect, but that's just part of the journey. However, I hadn't seen this. This was just in the background. And at this point in time, there was now this realization like, whoa, okay, I can get to choose this life that I really want to live. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. I gave up all of that shame. Like I said, I forgave myself, I forgave the people in my life, and I chose to start moving in the direction of my dream life. I chose to start moving in the direction of my dream career. And this is when I found one of the world's most renowned high-performance coaches in the world, Brendon Burchard. And when I learned what he was doing, and when I learned the background, and when I learned what was happening with his organization, I said, bam, this is possible for him, it's possible for me. And I chose to start moving in the direction of being a life and a professional coach, because I love to do this kind of work. This is the kind of work that's gotten me here so far. And who am I? I'm a 28-year-old Colombian immigrant. What chances do I have? All of them, as do you. And it's because of this mental mind frame, it's because of the ideas, it's because of the stuff that I've been going through for the past 7 years that's really shaped my habits and my thinking patterns. And I realize if I've had this level of impact for myself, I'm sure other people can have a very similar experience. So I chose to really own my dream. I chose to really step into my authenticity and embrace who I am as an individual. And this is now where I'm at. I am now here because I am able to live a life that I'm humbly grateful for. Because I'm able to live a life that I enjoy. I wake up excited. And I go to sleep excited. Because I know that every single day that passes, I'm putting one step forward towards that dream vision that I'm building for myself. Which now brings me to you and why we're here. In the past 6 months, my life has taken out speed that I can't even describe. And it's not because I'm special, not at all. It's because I've been consistently and deliberately practicing the high performance habits, thanks to the support and to the accountability of my certified high performance coach, Michelle. Now, before we even go into what these high performance habits are, let's start to define out what high performance is, because high performance is one of those words that's kind of buzzy right now. Everyone uses it, and that's okay. The way that we're going to describe it through the High Performance Institute is what can an individual do to live a sustained and heightened level of success consistently over the long term while maintaining a positive all-around well-being and strong connected relationships. How can an individual experience their day-to-day with a place full of joy, full self-engagement with the people in their life, and confidence in who they are? That's how we define high performance at the High Performance Method through the High Performance Institute, because they've realized that it's all about encompassing all areas of life. Right? So now, I'm sure we've all heard the phrase, change your habits, change your life. Right? But which habits specifically should we be focusing on? Which habits should we be looking at to create a different and a heightened level of experience? Now, I'm sure we all know people that have good habits, but for some reason, they just can't seem to get ahead. I'm sure maybe we all know people that have really good health habits, but halfway through the day, they're already tired and burnt out. Maybe we know people that have really good relationships, but something about them and their relationship, they're not able to create that level of support and to ask for that level of support from the people in their lives. Maybe we know someone who is smart, who is organized, who's on task, but for some reason, it seems like everybody else around them just poof, flies right past them. Right? So how is it that high performers really set themselves apart from the crowd, from everybody else around them? And it's because of this. Because high performers practice a deliberate set of actions consistently over time, these habits. And this is what makes them different. This is what sets them apart, because it's not about what you're naturally good at. It's about those consistent, habitual actions that are now proven to make a difference. It's these habits that practice over the long term bring around this life where you feel joyous, you feel confident, and engaged with the people in your life. So let's dive into that. High performance habit number 1, they seek clarity. Now, this is one of those experiences where high performers are always asking themselves questions to really generate who they want to be. They ask themselves, who do I really want to be in this interaction? I'm about to walk into my house. Who do I want to be with my spouse, with my children? They are always asking them questions like, what do I really find meaningful in what I'm doing right now? It's a level of clarity that brings this level of production, this level of efficiency. Now, seeking clarity can be a challenge because you may have 2 different actions that may bring around different and similar results. So which one do you take? Maybe something happened at work and you're left in the position of leadership and you gotta make a decision that is, it's on the line. How do you choose which one to make? Seeking clarity opens up the access for you to make the choices that are aligned with you and with the bigger purpose. High performance habit number 2, they generate energy. Now, this is one of those things where you may be the person or you may know someone that when they walk into the room, it's like, bam, there they are. Maybe it's you. Maybe when you leave someone, they're left in a place of, oh my God, I feel good. Now, this isn't about feeling good so much. That's just a result. Generating of energy is this level of mental focus, mental clarity, this level of physical stamina, this level of where it is unmistakable that they're present with you, they're there with you. So how is it that high performers time and time again appear that way with the people in their life? How do they generate that energy? High performance habit number 3, raise necessity. Now, this is one of those habits that I like to think of like Jedi mind, right? It's like they get into this mental groove where they're able to just be super efficient in half the time. It's a strategy and it's this just idea of thinking, and it's this habitual way of thinking that gets them to just get things done consistently over the long term. High performance habit number 4, and it goes in line with raising necessity, but this is increasing productivity. Now, this is a little bit different because raising necessity is about that mental focus. Increasing productivity is about, okay, how can I get this project done in this amount of time? Because high performers are people that are able to do 10 things in the time that some people do 1 thing. How do they do that? What do they practice? How do they prepare? How do they strategize for a project? Increasing productivity. High performance habit number 5, they develop influence. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that if you were to get the support from the people in your life, the people around you, that maybe one of your goals or what you're looking to accomplish would happen quicker? High performers are always eliciting the support from others. And it's not like others want to have to do it. No, they want to do it. Now, what about their way of being makes people want to help them? And what about them has that communication be heard? They got to communicate that. Developing influence. How can you start developing influence now with the people in your life? And high performance habit number 6, demonstrate courage. Now, this is huge. Let me ask you this. How many people in your life know what your goals are? How often do you speak your truth and what you're really feeling, what you're thinking, what you're desiring, what you dream of? High performers it's these people that are always sharing with the world what they're out to create. They're always creating it with the world. They're always sharing it. And again, it's not from a place of egotism. It's like, look at me, this is what I'm doing. No, it's like, look, this is what I'm doing. And I'm super fired up about it. They're generating this energy. They have this productivity to them. They have this level of focus and clarity that can only come about from that level of courage. Right? So we have the high performance habits right then and there. Short and quick recap. Number 1, seeking clarity. Number 2, generating energy. Number 3, raise necessity. Number 4, increasing productivity. Number 5, developing influence. And number 6, demonstrating courage. Now, these are the habits that, when studied, were shown time and time again to really start moving things forward. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to really start diving deep into each and every single one of them. What strategies, how can you practice them deliberately? So again, it's not accidental practice. It is consciously chosen actions that developed over time create a habit which bring about results. Now these habits work like this, right? They work independently. If you focus on one, you'll start moving that needle forward. However, when you start working on one, you'll start to see the other one also increase. It's almost like the quote, as the water rises, so do all the boats. So when you start to focus on one of the habits, you'll start to see your life start to shift in other areas as well. And that's why it's so exciting, and this is why in the next couple of weeks, your life can literally transform. Look, this isn't a motivational thing. This is now this is a strategy. This is factual habits that after 174,000 high performers were studied, those were the ones that consistently kept coming up again. Habits that are controllable, that are deliberate, and that anyone can do. Super pumped up. Make sure you go to the homework. Make sure you read through the following sheet and do the questions at the bottom, right? It's short today because we really got to start getting aware of where we're at. Without knowing where we're at, where we're going is difficult. So start today. Read through the page. I would highly recommend print them out. Print them out. Get yourself a notebook and keep this in front of you every single day, because this is what's going to start to train your brain to continuously start taking these actions that over time will develop the habits. Thank you so much for being here. I honor you. I really thank you and I acknowledge you for taking the time to be listening to this. You are on the way to creating a completely transformative experience for yourself and your life. And there's people in your life that need it. Thank you for hearing the call. Thank you for your leadership. Till next week.